Yo, what is up guys, it's me Zach Lee and welcome back to the Zach Lee Show, where we talk about everything that's going on in the NBA on a daily basis. As always, you guys are the real MVPs. I seriously can't thank you enough for coming back each and every single day. But now with that out the way, let's just get into everything that is going on in the NBA. But first, a quick word about this video's sponsor, Hardwood Amino, a social media app that is dedicated to the NBA and its fans, and it keeps adding some great new features, by the way, too. For example, you can now create your own avatar, and there are these screening rooms that I will actually be doing live with you guys later today, so that should be cool. And then there are even communities set up for fans of specific teams like the Lakers and the Celtics. On top of the already great stuff that they already have on the app, it just keeps getting better. I mean, there is a heck of a lot to do in this app if you are an NBA fan. I'll have the link to download it down in the description box below. But now with that out the way, on to the video. Let's go. Did I not say when the Warriors announced that Stephen Curry was coming back yesterday that it didn't make sense, that they shouldn't rush it, that they should wait, because why risk having something else? Why risk him getting injured once again just so you have a better chance of winning a couple of meaningless regular season games? It's not worth it. And it wasn't worth it. It wasn't freaking worth it. Of course, in his first game back from his ankle injury, Stephen Curry goes down again. Granted, this time it wasn't with an ankle injury, but still it's even more serious this time, as he got injured by his own teammate, and not even Zaza Pachulia, but the other clumsy big man, JaVale McGee. The dude fell backwards onto his leg.
After having only that 2-0 advantage. Good help from JaVale, and able to recover. Muscala, good stop there. What happened here? Gee, Merry Christmas, son of a gun. He did it. This is the worst sign you could have. It looks like it's his left ankle, though, not his right. It's been his right ankle. And then the whole building has become silent here.
That is the exact same thing, well, almost the exact same thing that Zaza Pachulia did with Kevin Durant last season.
All 5 Wizard starters averaged double-figure scoring. Morris missing, and Zaza was pulled down. But KD appeared to have a left leg injury as he went to the Warrior locker room.
Someone needs to teach these Warriors big men that falling backwards like that in a crowd of people is one of the most dangerous things you can do on a basketball court. You're basically playing Russian roulette with guys' knees and ankles at that point. Anyways though, JaVale did to Curry what Zaza did to Durant, and it seems like Stephen Curry suffered the same injury Kevin Durant did when Zaza fell on top of him, as Stephen Curry has initially been diagnosed with an MCL sprain. He is set to go a full MRI today, but they already know what the injury is. I guess that'll just be to determine the severity of the injury. So Stephen Curry is out due to clumsiness, utter pure clumsiness. And this injury typically wouldn't be the biggest deal if it happened during any other point of the NBA season, but it happened right before the start of the playoffs. The worst time, or one of the worst times. If it happened during the playoffs, it would have been worse, but one of the worst times for an injury like this to happen. An MCL sprain can cause you to miss anywhere up to 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the severity, meaning that Stephen Curry will miss some time in the NBA playoffs. There is a small chance that he could return late in the first round or early on in the second round, assuming they make it to the second round without him. Like I said, it all just depends on the severity of the sprain. If it was a pretty bad one like Kevin Durant that caused him to miss 19 games, which is about 6 weeks worth of action, that is around the time that the first round will be coming to an end and the second round will be started, which ain't good at all, because we all know how much worse of a team the Golden State Warriors are without Stephen Curry. Without Stephen Curry, they are at a huge disadvantage. And in the West, even though they're going to be playing against the 7th seed, it's not like it's going to be a typical 7v2 matchup. It could be the Spurs, the Pelicans, the Wolves, or the Jazz, and the Wolves will have Jimmy Butler back by then. All of those teams are better than the average 7th seed in the NBA. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if the Thunder tried to fall to the 7th seed now just so they can try and capitalize on this situation. Now that probably ain't happening, but I can see them moving up to the 3rd seed, which means they will be the Warriors' second round opponent. And if Curry isn't ready to come back by the start of that series, it's not going to look look too good for Golden State. They're going to need Curry for every game because the OKC Thunder have proven this year that when it comes to playing against the Golden State Warriors, they can look like the team we all thought they were going to be. It's just every other night you get what you get out of OKC, but when it's against the Warriors, they show up. Anyways though, JaVale McGee, the guy who accidentally fell on top of Steph Curry's leg, said after the game, there must be some type of juju on the Golden State Warriors because all of these players keep getting injured.
That's the star player, like, of course, like, we don't want him to be injured, especially as he came back, so I feel very bad for the fact that I was a part of that.
Is there kind of a strange feeling around the team right now because of, I mean, it seems like every game
it's like a juju or something on us. Like, I've never been a part of a team where everybody just got injured, especially the starters. It's kind of scary to tell the truth.
Kevin Durant gets injured at least once a season. We come to expect this now. Klay has been really durable in his career, and his injury isn't anything to worry about. We don't have to worry about him missing any more time when he comes back. Draymond Green, the only time you have to worry about him missing time is due to suspensions, but then you have Stephen Curry. This year especially, it seems like someone does want his career to end because it's been freak accident after freak accident, which is scary. You almost have to hold your breath every time he takes the court. This season has just been so messed up due to all these ridiculous injuries. And if the Warriors get eliminated early on before Stephen Curry can come back, then the championship is wide open. I would have no clue who would be the favorites to win. You would think the Toronto Raptors or the Houston Rockets, but we still have to see how they perform in the playoffs. And then you always have the Cleveland LeBron Jameses. I mean, the Celtics, Blazers, Spurs. I have absolutely no clue who I would put my money on if the Golden State Warriors go down early because of this Stephen Curry injury. And if that happens, by the way, JaVale McGee might just become the most hated person in Golden State. Moving on though, we have some breaking news, utterly earth-shattering news surrounding the Orlando Magic, as they are expected to fire their head coach Frank Vogel at the end of the season. Orlando's ongoing malice, especially after the promise of an unexpected 8-4 start, made it a widely held assumption in coaching circles that Vogel will be dismissed after the franchise 6 successive seasons out of the playoffs. Who cares? Let me chill. Orlando, but seriously, y'all can fire Frank Vogel and replace him with anyone else, and it most likely won't make a difference at all. I don't see how you're gonna blame him. What is he supposed to do with the roster that he has? Anyways, do you guys remember how DeMarcus Cousins was when he found out he was getting traded from the Sacramento Kings to the New Orleans Pelicans? The man was devastated. He really loves the city of Sacramento. He had that whole speech where he cried after he found out he was traded.
My love for this city has never changed.
Love you, Boogie.
Love you, Boogie.
He said he would always love the city, that would never change, and it appears he is holding true to that, as reports just came out saying that DeMarcus Cousins offered to pay for the funeral of a man who was just murdered in Sacramento earlier this week. Former King star DeMarcus Cousins offered to pay for the funeral of a 22-year-old unarmed black man who was shot and killed by the city police on Sunday in his grandmother's backyard. And this isn't the first time that DeMarcus Cousins has done something like this for the community of Sacramento. Cousins also paid for the funeral of a local football player a couple years back after that football player was shot and killed. So props to DeMarcus Cousins. He might seem like a mean guy with the officials on the court, but the guy has an extremely big heart. He cares a lot. But that's actually gonna wrap up all the news from yesterday. Now let's take a quick look at the games, and there were some actually really good games. Some really fun stuff happened, so let's get into that. This was a monumental game for the seeding out west. Maybe monumental is a bit of a stretch, but this was still a big game for the seeding out west, and both of these teams knew it. And you can tell by watching this game that both of the teams knew it. I mean, you could really tell that both Donovan Mitchell and LaMarcus Aldridge knew it, as this game turned into sort of a duel between those two players. Manu Ginobili acknowledged it. He also acknowledged that Aldridge has been carrying them offensively for the past few games. Aldridge was ridiculous the previous 2 games too. He's carrying us. He's just saying, okay, follow me guys, we'll be okay. Aldridge had 39 points last Saturday in the game against the Wolves. He had 33 in the game against the Warriors, 27 against Washington, and now a career high 45 points against the Utah Jazz. 6 straight games that he scored at least 20 points, and the Spurs have won all 6 of those games, so that's not a coincidence. The guy has been putting this team on his back without Kawhi Leonard, really looking like the Portland LaMarcus Aldridge again. As for Donovan Mitchell though, the dude is a straight up baller. I'm really struggling to see why so many teams passed up on him in the draft. He lost the game last night, but earned the respect of even more people around the league, including Greg Popovich, as Popovich had this to say. He's tough. Those 2 threes he hit were just ridiculous, but he's got the courage and he's got the skill and he's willing to take those shots. And Mitchell, after the game, said, not wanting to lose just takes over my mind, just trying to find a way to win. If it means hitting shots, hitting shots. And if it means you're getting doubled, pass the ball to Rudy Gobert. Or if it's getting steals on defense, whatever it may be to win the game. Those are the words of a true leader right there. Mitchell finished the game with 35 points and 4 steals, 124 to 120. Spurs win in overtime. It's also kind of strange that Curry was injured both the times the Warriors played the Hawks. And even though he went down during the time he was on the court, Curry did enough damage to make sure the Warriors still got the 106 to 94 win. Curry with 29 points and 7 rebounds in just 24 minutes of action. Also, Quinn Cook, he could be playing himself into a pretty nice payday this offseason. The young guy has been showing a lot of potential in the opportunities he's gotten with all the injuries to the Warriors. He had a more than solid game off the bench with 13 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. Well, of course, still no Kyrie from Boston, and yet they were still able to beat the Portland Trailblazers 105 to 100 off a huge fourth quarter rally. But the Boston Celtics have been the kings of comebacks this year. There have been so many games that they were down big and still come back to get the win. And this time it was because of Marcus Morris, who was a walking human flame. 30 points for him, but on 9 of 13 shooting and 5 of 6 from deep. That is about efficient of a 30 points as you will ever see. Lillard and McCollum both had 26 for the Blazers. And the Toronto Raptors bounced back after the loss to Cleveland to get the 116 to 112 win over the Nets. D'Angelo Russell though, let's talk about him for a second. He had his first career triple-double yesterday with 18 points, 11 rebounds, and 13 assists. And this is a guy that has kind of disappointed me this season, yet I understand why he's been disappointing at the same time since he was injured. But he's averaging 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists per game while only shooting 41% from the field and 31% from deep. 16, 5, and 4 aren't bad numbers for a guy who's been battling injuries. It's just the shooting percentages that haven't been so great, and they haven't been getting much better either. Look, I still have faith though. He still shows signs of being an all-star level guard in this league, so maybe next year will be the year that he makes that leap. I mean, it kind of has to be. Anyways though, D'Lo wasn't the only player to log a triple-double in this game. Kyle Lowry also had his third of the season with 25 points and 12 assists and 10 rebounds, while shooting 7 of 11 from the field and 5 of 6 from deep. He must have been blowing off some steam on the court after that loss to the Cavs that he was so upset about. And while we're on the topic of triple-doubles, why not get into this game next? Russell Westbrook didn't quite have a triple-double yesterday, 29 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists, but the Thunder were still able to get the 105 to 99 win over the Heat by going off for 41 points in the fourth quarter. Westbrook was responsible for 17 of those points. Man just took over with the game on the line. The Cleveland Cavaliers have their team back as Larry Nance Jr., Tristan Thompson, and Rodney Hood all returned against the Suns. Nance pretty much picked up right where he left off with 15 points and 10 rebounds. He and LeBron already have some great chemistry on the court. LeBron though with 27 points and 9 assists as the Cavs destroy the Devin Booker-less, TJ Warren-less Suns 120 to 95. The Clippers' chances of making the playoffs aren't looking too great anymore. They just started to lose way too many games down the stretch for that to happen. They lost another one to the Pacers, 109 to 104. Maybe if they had a healthy Danilo Gallinari all season long, they would have made it, but relying on Danilo to be healthy is not a good situation to be in the first place. Bogdan Bogdanovic scored 28 points for the Pacers, while Lou Williams had 27 points and 10 assists for the Clippers. While the door is pretty much closed on the Clippers' chances of making the playoffs, there was still a sliver of hope for the Denver Nuggets, as long as they continue to win, of course, which is a good thing. They got the 108 to 100 win over the Wizards yesterday. Still think that the Nuggets loss to the Grizzlies last week is going to come back and bite them, though Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray both scored 25 for Denver. Tony Snell was a perfect 6 of 6 from the field and 4 of 4 from deep for 18, and Shabazz Muhammad, they signed off waivers from the Wolves, actually played great this game too, with 21 points in only 20 minutes of action. Speaking of free wins, Shabazz Muhammad and the Wolves though, let's get into the Wolves game, as the Wolves got a free win over the Knicks. Well, let me not disrespect New York like that, since they did try in this one. It was a hard-earned free win, I guess. And this also marked the first time since the KG era in Minnesota that the Wolves will have a winning season. 42 wins for the Wolves now, so it is guaranteed. 108 to 104. Towns with 24 points and 13 rebounds, while Tim Hardaway Jr. was on fire for the Knicks as he scored 39. That wraps up all the action from last night though. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to smack that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more daily NBA videos. Remember to vote for the player of the day, but also remember the only players whose team won are eligible to win player of the day. And yesterday, that player was none other than Kemba Walker and his 46 points in the Hornets' 61-point win over the Memphis Grizzlies. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see all of you right back here tomorrow, but until then, I'm out of here.